This is the Thayer Podcast for Monday, November 6th, 2023. Last week I was asked what I thought was the most important task religion should play today. I answered, to stop the moral decay of American culture before we end up like Rome back in the day. The thought continued, we need to eliminate not just the debauchery and pernicious sexualization of every nook and cranny of American life, but we also need to curb the blatant lying, cheating, and criminal activities that our political system has accepted as the norm for decades. And this observation was offered. Our U.S. Constitution forbids the involvement of the federal government in support or opposition to the practice of or abstention from religion. It does not, however, forbid active religious involvement in the political process. The American Civil Liberties Union puts it this way. Religious liberty is alive and well in this country precisely because our government cannot tell us whether, when, where, or how to worship, and because our government cannot take sides on matters of faith. With the decline of Christianity and active efforts worldwide to eliminate both Judaism and the Christian faith, a new type of old Christian activism has been reborn. It began quite a long time ago in the rural areas of our country. A lot of folks called it Bible thumping. Its practitioners simply called it revival. The objective was to bring the unwashed to Jesus and motivate them to become involved in local religious activities. In the process, people began to take a greater interest in local government and how their involvement in the process could influence election outcomes. While they're still practiced regularly across America's heartland, old-fashioned revivals in the rest of the country seem to have morphed into rallies rooted in politics. And because of their progress, many preachers have expanded their reach to include not just the flock in their congregations, but also people looking to find a church home in the internet. While traditional church attendance across the ever-aging American landscape has decreased over the years, with young people opting out of what they perceive as a weekly obligation, evangelism-based congregations have been expanding lately, enthusiastically seeking out and inviting young people on board. While staid and traditional congregations have shrunk over the last several decades, evangelism has been welcoming worshipers of all ages and especially growing young families. Part of what attracts a younger crowd to these growing churches is their involvement in the community. They're involved in the education of their kids, in local and regional sports, in assisting law enforcement, and yes, even in politics at all levels. Lately, several generations of young people have been warming to faith-based involvement across the board. They are our future, and we owe them our undivided moral support. We are responsible for our growing crop of young families, and our job is to assure that their moral compasses are all facing north. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Semper Fi.